Let's talk about music, directed and co-written by Sia. As of this review, music has a 10% Rotten Tomatoes score, a petition to ban it with more than 60,000 signatures, and a Golden Globe nomination for Best Comedy or Musical. Golden Globe nom aside, the movie has generated a lot of bad press for its depiction of autism. But is the entire movie a dud or just that particular aspect? Today I want to take a fair, balanced look at music. I can't tell you whether or not you should be offended by the movie, that's your choice. I just want to look at the movie from a filmmaking standpoint. Music tells the story of Zu, short for Kazu, a recovering alcoholic and drug dealer who becomes the legal guardian for Music, a young girl with autism. She finds herself in over her head as a caregiver and turns to her compassionate apartment neighbor Ibo for help. Throughout the film, we go inside the characters' minds and see their points of view through creative, minimalistic music sequences featuring new songs from Sia. But let's go ahead and address the two elephants in the room. Perhaps the most controversial parts of Music are the scenes in which Music has an autistic meltdown, and Zu and Ibo restrain her on the floor or ground. These scenes are meant to show Zu's growth as a caregiver, only they don't. You see, they don't because she's not supposed to restrain Music. They really just show even more that she and Ibo apparently are in over their heads caring for a child with autism. It's for the best that Sia has pledged to cut these scenes from the movie. The other controversial aspect is Maddie Ziegler being cast as Music. Sia has said the character Music is based on her friend Stevie, who is autistic and nonverbal with, I believe it's pronounced echolalia. She has also said that they tried casting an actor with autism, but that the actor was overwhelmed on set due to said autism. Hence why Sia went with Ziegler. Look, I don't know what's real and what's not, or what's just an excuse. It seems like Sia could have found an actor or another actor with autism, but nonetheless, Ziegler was cast as Music. Her performance here does seem like a caricature at times, but part of me feels sorry for Ziegler. Now, hear me out, folks. Allegedly, Ziegler cried during the movie's rehearsals, saying she didn't want anyone to think she was making fun of them. But let's be honest. And again, hear me out. 20, 15, maybe even 10 years ago, Ziegler would have been getting Oscar buzz for her work here. Now, she might not have gotten a nomination, but buzz. Now, let me underline this. That doesn't make the performance or the portrayal or anything, that doesn't make it right, okay? Obviously, just because something was once considered right doesn't mean it was. But as our society grows and learns, I think some people, in this case Ziegler, are being thrown under the bus or maybe being used as a scapegoat. Heck, there was a time when CBS aired a Hallmark movie in which Rosie O'Donnell gave this performance.
So it's a free country, I'm a person. I buy my bus pass for $40 and I'm first always, so that's why I'm first.
Yeah, you're doing it on the government dole.
Yeah, folks, that was on CBS. I mean, that was like a major television event. Some of you are too young to remember this, but I mean, the Hallmark movie of the week at one time was a pretty big freaking deal. Rosie O'Donnell allegedly thought that she might have given an Emmy-winning performance there. I think it received mixed reviews, but still, it didn't receive the outcry that Ziegler's performance here has received. In Music, Ziegler does veer close to giving a caricaturist performance. Granted, it wasn't like I had behind-the-scenes access, but just watching the movie, I really don't think there was any sort of intentional attempt at trying to offend anybody. I think this was a sincere, again, if underline it, misguided effort. That doesn't mean we should give her awards, but maybe we should give her some slack this time. I have to note though that I was a little confused about Ziegler's performances during the musical numbers. During them, sometimes she's clearly acting as Music, such as in the opening sequence. But in other musical sequences, it's like she's acting as herself or herself in a Sia music video. My theory is that Sia cast Ziegler solely for these musical sequences. That's my theory. And she wanted someone who could handle the dancing aspect, and who better than her go-to music video star. Here's the thing though. If Ziegler couldn't stay in character during the dances, or if they felt an actress with Music's level of autism couldn't do these dances, I don't know. But in that case, those scenes needed to be rewritten. Those dances or what have you needed to be rewritten. As for the other performances, Kate Hudson gives her role as Zoo her best effort. She too was nominated for a Golden Globe for Best Actress in a Musical or Comedy, but her character is so unlikable at times, and it'd be one thing if she were acting in a comedy, but she behaves so irresponsibly to be music's caregiver. Hudson as Zoo is almost like her almost famous character Penny Lane gone wrong. Granted, it's not like Zoo asked to be music's caregiver. In fact, she flat out names her major flaws and every major mistake she's ever made to a certain character, and the other character's response is to make her music's caregiver. Leslie Odom Jr. is solid as Ebo. I have no clue about the accuracy of his accent here in this role, but as with any other roles, Odom Jr. pours his heart into it. He recently gave another outstanding performance in One Night in Miami. I recommend you see that movie instead. His character is constantly trying to teach Zoo about autism, and it shows the movie has its heart in the right place, even if its head isn't. There's a subplot involving Beto Cavillo as a lover forced by his parents to be a fighter. It ties into the film in that Odom Jr.'s character trains him, but I really think this subplot could have been cut. It just seemed too far away from the main narrative in my opinion, even if thematically it fits with the film. Ben Schwartz shows a range I didn't know he had, as the character Rudy, who is Zoo's supplier. One minute he's cracking jokes, the next minute he's cracking skulls, or at least threatening to, if he doesn't get his money.
Where's my money? Where's my money?
But seriously, Schwartz here makes me think he might have a brilliant, darker performance in him waiting to come out. Also, Tig Notaro plays the host of a children's TV show that some characters are watching. The children's show looks like something out of Adult Swim. There's something very subtly off-putting about it, and I'm curious what this show is supposed to mean. Really, something that odd has to mean something. Is the movie trying to say this is how some autistic children feel watching everyday kids TV shows on, say, Nick Jr. or Disney Jr.? If you see that show within this movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. There's something going on there, and I'm not quite sure what. Whatever the case, the story, again, how an unstable and irresponsible dealer finds hope, love, and another chance by being a caregiver for an autistic child is questionable. Plus, the big finale. Did I miss something? I'll tread lightly here to avoid spoilers, but I feel like Zoo and music totally crash and take over a wedding. The movie is going for an "ah" type moment, but in real life it would have been a "huh" type moment, as the wedding's guests wonder who these people are and why they're hogging the attention from the bride and groom. Also, the musical sequences, again, they're meant to show music's POV, but we get sequences in the minds of other characters. They can be dazzling with their minimalistic but colorful and inventive art production, but then you see Leslie Odom Jr. trying to walk in a giant pair of pants, and you just think, maybe that's a bit too much. Overall, yeah, to me, music can be seen as problematic, as offensive, due to its casting and those restraint scenes, which, again, hopefully by the time if you see this movie, those will be removed. But from a narrative standpoint, the film, well, it's still not great. But it might not, again I said might not, be as bad as its reputation suggests. Although, again, it's not the best film, but it is one of the all-time worst. Well, if you're going by problematic and potentially offensive material, maybe. If you're going from a narrative standpoint, place it in that pantheon of Oscar bait movies that failed to win over critics and failed to get over awards. It's not the worst film I've seen. I'm just full of backhanded compliments in this review. It's not great, but at least it's interesting. However, don't mistake that as an endorsement. It's like saying, hey, this expired milk doesn't taste that bad. I give music 1.5 out of 4 stars. Have you seen music? Really, did you? I always ask that, but like this time have you seen music? Really? It surprises me. What do you think of the controversy surrounding it? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to my channel, follow me on Twitter, link in the description. Until next time, this has been Josh with Movies Please. Thanks for watching.